This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's newsletter, Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter, for March 15, 2023. In this volume 27, issue number 6, we discuss how the Ohio Insurance Department is now warning insurers and insureds of past posting fraud schemes, where the department warned that the scheme is committed after an auto accident or property damage that is trending in the state of Ohio. Named the past posting scheme, the term describes the action of a person attempting to secure insurance after an incident in which they did not have coverage, or making it appear they had insurance when the incident occurred by manipulating the paperwork. You can read the article in full at the link in the blog posting, and you can also read the full issue, all 22 pages of the March 15 issue, by clicking on the link in the blog. The next article deals with the California Bar, admitting its failure to properly deal with now disbarred Tom Girardi. The State Bar employees apparently were bribed to ignore wrongful conduct, and by so doing, they've now been dismissed, fired, and the State Bar has put in all new procedures to protect against further actions by lawyers trying to pay off bar investigators and lawyers. For example, former State Bar employee Tom Layton, who was terminated in 2015, received gifts and payments estimated at over $1 million from Girardi through his firm while Layton was employed at the State Bar. Those payments and gifts were never disclosed properly. Other State Bar employees and board members accepted and failed to report gifts and other items from Girardi. Relatives of staff members were employed by the Girardi firm. Staff in the Office of Chief Trial Counsel were improperly involved in matters assigned to outside conflict counsel. 8 Girardi cases were closed by individuals who may determined had conflicts of interest at the time they worked on the cases. Interim Executive Director Bob Hawley ghostwrote decisions in matters assigned to outside conflict counsel without disclosing that fact, including a decision to recommend closure of a complaint against Girardi. Between 2013 and 2015, both the Executive Director's Office and Office of General Counsel received reports about Girardi's influence at the State Bar in connection to Layton and others, but failed to investigate. Former Executive Director Joe Dunn, who was terminated in 2014, and Hawley made questionable terminations of 2 OCTC attorneys who were advocating for disciplinary action against Girardi, and on at least one occasion, Girardi successfully deployed his connections to the State Bar to discourage people from making complaints against him. You can read the full article, which is quite lengthy, at the link to Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter in the blog. Then we have another article about more McClenny, Mosley and Associates issues, where now it seems the entire firm is dissipating into the woodwork, and 3 attorneys who once worked in its New Orleans office have posted notices on their LinkedIn pages that they are now self-employed. Founding partner James M. McClenny has resigned from the law firm. Several attorneys who once worked for the law firm outside of Louisiana are no longer listed on the firm's website, and after the Louisiana Supreme Court suspended Mr. Huey Last week, the bios of the 3 other attorneys who worked with him in the New Orleans office disappeared from MMA's website. You can read the full article and the full issue of Zalma's insurance fraud letter at the link provided in the blog. Then we have good news from the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, where they report about a soulless soul food murder plot which was shut down. The owner of a soul food restaurant featured on the hit TV reality show Welcome to Sweetie Pies had his nephew gunned down for a $450,000 life policy. James Tim Norman received life in prison for arranging a hit on his nephew Andrew Montgomery in St. Louis. Norman paid Travell Anthony Hill $5,000 to shoot Montgomery with a .380 caliber handgun outside the rap studio where Montgomery worked. He then disposed of the gun in his burner phone. Exotic dancer Tarika Ellis was in a relationship with Norman. He paid her $10,000 in cash to lure Montgomery to where he was shot. Insurance agent YL Wally Rebhi Yagnam helped Norman secretly take out life insurance that named Norman the sole beneficiary if Montgomery died. Yagnam helped Norman file applications that included false info about Montgomery's net worth and background. Norman called the insurance agency to collect the insurance money just 16 days after Montgomery was shot. He also fake-played the role of a grieving relative. TV clips from Welcome to Sweetie Pies circulated showing Norman's mourning the death he himself had set up. Norman even visited the murder scene with his mother and TV cameras in an episode. Since Andre's passing, I haven't gone through this part of the city, Norman said on the show. I've been avoiding it. The entire murder crew now stands convicted. You can read this article, including a dozen more convictions, and the full issue of ZIFL at the link provided on the blog. Then there is stories of health insurance fraud convictions, one of which dealt with a former state lawmaker sentenced for COVID-19 fraud scheme at the Springfield Health Care Charity. Patricia Ashton Durgis, 64, of Nixa, Missouri, was sentenced by U.S. Judge Brian C. Wimes to 6 years and 3 months in federal prison without parole. The court also ordered Durgis to pay $500,600 in restitution to her victims. You can read this article, including dozens of convictions, and the full issue of Zalma's insurance fraud at the link posted. Next is an article of other insurance fraud convictions, including that of a Los Angeles business owner and conspirator who worked together, were sentenced in a $54 million workers' compensation fraud scheme. Wesley Owens of Atlanta, Georgia, and Bo Williams, also of Atlanta, pleaded no contest to multiple felony counts of insurance fraud and conspiracy in Department 50 of the Los Angeles Superior Court before Judge Carrie White. The charges were filed after a California Department of Insurance investigation found the 2 defendants perpetrated a $54 million workers' compensation insurance fraud scheme. You can read the full story about Mr. Owens and Mr. Wilson, as well as many other insurance fraud convictions for fraud other than health insurance fraud at Zalma's insurance fraud letter, with the full 22 pages at the link posted on the blog. Then there's an article about why it's time to subscribe to my Locals or Substack publications, where for subscribers only I've published special insurance videos and webinars where there are more than 25 videos and 3 webinars of the Excellence in Claims Handling program. I also published on Substack.com videos and webinars of Excellence in Claims Handling available only to paid subscribers who have access to all the videos in a webinar on the examination under oath, a tool available to insurers to thoroughly investigate claims and work to defeat fraud. This video is available free along with the blog to anyone who clicks on the link zalma.com/blog. You can also subscribe to the blog where you will be advised of every issue, including usually 5 to 6 blog postings. You can subscribe to Zalma's insurance fraud letter, which is published twice a month, and you can subscribe free as well to the videos on rumble.com and on youtube.com. And I'd appreciate it if you click on the like button and the Rumble button if you watch the videos and like them. If you found this video to be useful to you, and please tell your friends and colleagues so that they can also subscribe to Zalma's insurance fraud letter, the blog, and the videos at YouTube and Rumble.com. Thank you for your attention.